Hi, I'm Susan Cranston, the host of Authentik You, a talk show that features real people in our community who've made changes in their life and sometimes in their career to follow a more authentic path. And that path often leads them on a journey of new beginnings. Today is a very special show, and the last number of shows we've had, we've featured individuals who've often started small businesses of their own to follow their authentic journey. And today we have someone who is a very, very successful businessman. He is also a self-professed serial entrepreneur. He, through his business centers, has helped foster over 300 small and medium-sized businesses. So I thought it was really ideal to welcome Michael Bierstock, who is a native of Kitchener-Waterloo, Waterloo Region, to join us today.
Thank you.
So thank you for being on the show with us, Michael. You have been part of this community, helping it in so many ways. You're a dedicated family man. You have wonderful children, a fabulous wife who I have the pleasure of working with as part of my Authentik You crew. And we're delighted to have you here. Now, there's so many questions that I wanted to ask you that I think could really make a difference for people who are starting off, who want to look at creating a business opportunity for themselves. What are 2 or 3 tips that you would have for someone who is starting off a business?
Well, it's a great question. I think that if there was a couple tips that I'd have to have, the first one would have to be get yourself a great team. It's what I always call the Ronald Reagan School of Management. Surround yourself with great people that you trust. And these don't always have to be people on their payroll. They can be people like accountants and lawyers, but it should also include peers, friends, your significant other. All these people can have some great insights into your business and into markets and in conditions, and can really help you achieve things that otherwise you couldn't do by yourself. It's your job as an entrepreneur to listen to everything that you can, factor it all in, and then make the decision. But it's got to be your decision. It's your business, and you're the entrepreneur.
So it's about having confidence and believing that you've got that, but also what I say is having your business, entourage to help support you, right? And to pull on those levers when you need them to help you move your idea and your focus forward.
Exactly. Market conditions change, things change quite a bit, and these are the people who can bring you insights into areas outside that you might not see some of these things coming.
So if you were starting over again, now you've got your own business, which is Piermont Development, or sorry, that's correct, right? Pierpoint Development. And you've got over 20 years experience. You've, like we talked about, fostered so many businesses. You've seen a lot happen in this community, both here in Canada, but also in the US through your contacts and your network. If you were starting out 20 years ago and you could get a couple pieces of advice to help maybe do things differently, what would you tell someone?
In order to do things differently compared to the way things used to be, I think that nowadays you have to anticipate change if you're going to be doing things differently. And change is a wonderful thing, and that's the kind of thing that you have to really embrace and take advantage of in the marketplace. We're still a bit like the Wild West out there nowadays. Mm-hmm. Kitchener-Waterloo is a great marketplace. It's growing. There's things happening. And you just have to go out and stake your claim. So I think that that would be one of the things. Embrace change that you'd have to take advantage of. Love what you do. If you love what you do, entrepreneurs who really enjoy the business that they're in are way more likely to succeed in the business, other than people who, for example, I had a business for a while, for 2 years, and I hated it, never enjoyed it, and I'm doing something I love now, and it inspires me. People should be inspired by what they do.
That is so well said. I think you have to bring your passion and bring the energy to what you're doing, because if you don't, then you're not going to be as successful as you could be, because your heart's not in it. And I think sometimes it's difficult because people think that they've invested so much time into something and they don't know when to sort of cut the cord and say, you know what, this isn't working for me.
Time is a big element in any business. Any business that you're in, it's going to take a long time to develop. You have to do the basics. There will be no overnight successes. You have to love what you do. If adversity comes, you have to want to tackle it more than ever rather than just throw in the towel.
Okay, so being, a change agent, so not falling in love with an idea and just sticking with it, and then also, loving what you do and bringing that passion to your work.
Exactly. There's a lot of different ways things can be done, and a lot of ways you can react in the marketplace. It's how you react that makes all the difference.
And particularly, we faced pretty significant economic downturn in 2008. So that probably tested a lot of entrepreneurs in terms of, their resilience and their optimism.
It certainly did. In my particular field, I saw a lot of people who didn't have long-term plans. They were just building short-term castles. And when the downturn came, regrettably, I know a few people who it hurt quite badly. You have to focus long-term, and you have to look long-term, especially in Kitchener-Waterloo right now, if you want to grow a successful business.
So having a plan, thinking long-term is really important. So let's hold that thought. We're just going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with Michael Bierstock with his great ideas and insights. Thank you. Hi, I'm Susan Cranston, the host of Authentik You, and I'm here with Michael Bierstock. He is a serial entrepreneur with over 20 years experience. He's also the president of Pierpoint Development, and we've just been talking about how important it is to have a plan in terms of writing it down, looking for financing, and really thinking longer term to help you weather some of the economic storms that happen. So Michael, tell us about why that's important and what you think about long-term planning.
I think it's critical to any business, and a lot of the businesses that I've seen come through the Executive Center, the ones that are most successful are the ones who have that long-term plan. It forces them to think both short-term, how are they going to address market conditions, pricing, supplier issues, all the basic things that we're used to, but also it helps them predict in some fashion what could happen in the future. By predicting that, they're able to come up with plan Bs. I am famous for my plan Bs, and I think that it's critical that everyone has one because there are going to be bumps that are going to happen to everyone in life and in business. And sometimes it's the mark of a true entrepreneur is how you face adversity when it comes. The business plan will help illuminate that.
So again, it's coming back to that flexibility and being a change agent, and part of that is definitely having a plan B. What are you going to do if this happens? And being nimble enough to do that. And also having that plan, if you're looking for funding, that you can very clearly and tangibly articulate what that looks like with that long tail strategy in place.
Exactly. And, once again, the guys that have been most successful that I've run into have been the ones who do have a physical plan written down and a good business case. The internet's a great place to go for anyone who wants to start and write down a business plan. There's a lot of tremendous resources available both on the internet and through the city to develop these. It's such a basic. I can't stress enough for people how it is. When you go in for financing with the banks, they're going to want to see that you have a business plan. They can be a great team member, but they want you to know that you've thought out everything.
Exactly. It helps them feel that it's a little less risky in terms of, investing in a business idea. And, you've talked about the fact that everyone has great ideas in them, but it's putting it to paper. Something that I just thought of was that the Government of Canada has on their website, they actually have a template for a business plan. And last year I worked on a survey that said that we asked a question of small business owners to see how many of them actually had a written plan. Less than 20 of them actually, when the response rate was less than 20% actually had a written business plan. So speaking to your point of the importance of it is just so critical, I think.
I agree. And it's funny, with the statistics actually are that 10 to 20% of businesses will be successful as a first-time startup for an entrepreneur. I'm willing to bet that's the 20% that had the business plan.
I would agree with you. I wouldn't bet against that. So when you think back on your very successful career, is there anything that you might do differently?
There's not a lot that I would actually do differently. Over the years, I've certainly got things that I wish hadn't happened to me, but they've all turned me into the person that I am today. And I've gained a tremendous amount of knowledge and experience, the school of hard knocks, in having gone through these things. Having gone through them, they help me avoid them again in the future. They might have been unpleasant, but they really have been a painful reminder about how not to operate and what pitfalls to avoid.
So they're learning there that you've taken from it, and it's helped you become more resilient and even more successful. You've built on it.
Exactly. The secret is not to let the bad experiences keep you down, but to turn them into positive experiences and not do them again.
So What are you most proud of when you think about that?
I would have to say there's two things that I'm most proud of right now. The first thing is change. The industry that I'm in, it can be deemed a very staid industry, but I love it when the buildings that I'm in, they change the way people relate to their buildings and the way that the buildings relate to the surroundings. So I'm a big believer in change, and I love being part of that and being a change agent. So I'm very proud of that when I see some of my accomplishments achieve that. The other thing that I would have to say that I'm most proud of is a building I built on Leicester Street a couple of years ago. I built a 9-story apartment building in 9 months. It was a tremendous amount of money on the line. I had never done anything multi-residence before. I had never done anything with an elevator before. It was a crazy project for me to tackle, but I did it, and it was on time, and I hit it out of the park. And I still drive by that building every couple weeks and take a look at it. It makes me feel proud, makes me feel really good.
Well, what a legacy for you to have something so tangible that you can look at, and to be able to deliver a project like that on time is incredible to begin with, because there's so many moving parts that all have to come together in harmony to be able to deliver on that kind of a time frame. So something else that I know about you, and I'm hoping that you can share a bit with our viewers, is the concept that you have around integrity and also design elements, and really you've touched on a little bit around incorporating the surroundings. Can you talk a little bit more about what that means to you?
Well, to me, integrity is everything. My business's motto is building with integrity, and that's a play both on the fact that buildings have to have structural integrity, but you'll never succeed in business without having integrity. And integrity is something that you can't deliver over the phone. You can only deliver through experience and in person and in meeting your commitments with people. You have to do the basics in any business. And we all know what these basics are. It's those gut feelings we have. Make sure the cash flows are good. Make sure you treat your customer right. But those basics are also maintaining your integrity. This, once again, business needs to be a long-term process, and it's all about people. And you can't succeed at either of those things without maintaining high integrity.
I absolutely agree with you, and I think it's something that Stephen Covey said, that slow is fast and fast is slow, and that's so important with integrity and building relationships. And would you say that, building a network, it's important to maintain that, because your reputation, once it's established, if you have that integrity and have trust, it makes it so much easier to deliver projects on time?
Oh, it definitely does. If you maintain high integrity with your clients and with your suppliers and with the other people that you deal with, when push comes to shove, maybe they'll work a little bit harder when you need them to. At the same time, they'll trust you. And if you keep your word and you promise that you'll deliver documents at a certain time or products at a certain time, or maintain your commitments on things, they will bring you more opportunities in the future. Word gets out that you're a good guy to deal with.
And you are a great guy to deal with. And on that note, we're just going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with more of Michael's insights. Hi, I'm Susan Cranston, the host of Authentik You, and I'm here with Michael Bierstock. He is the president of PurePoint Development, and he's been sharing his insights and his perspective on his career that spans over 20 years in helping over 300 small and medium-sized businesses grow and develop here in Canada and also in the United States. He's a native of Kitchener-Waterloo, and we've just been talking about how important community is, and in his role as a mentor, what he does and how that supports the community. So Michael, can you share some of your insights in that regard?
I'm a big believer in community, and it's been getting more and more powerful belief the better a businessman I get. I've realized that nothing grows in a vacuum, so if you want your business to succeed, you have to have the environment that you're in succeed. And for me, that environment is all of Kitchener-Waterloo and everyone in it. And I enjoy the fact that many of the things that I'm doing, some of them business and some of them outside of the business world, can really help develop Kitchener-Waterloo and the community in general.
And we've chatted a little bit on break about a development that you're working right now on in the Lancaster area. And is it Bridgeport and Lancaster?
Yes, it is.
And tell me a little bit more about that. What are you doing in that neighborhood?
That's one of those areas that I really see change as one of the functions that I do. I've taken the old gas station that was derelict and run down in a major intersection, and I've really managed to reposition that whole area by putting up a brand new building on there filled with lots of color and light. I really feel as if I'm helping take a derelict part of the city and bring it back to life again. And it's really my hope that I'll just be the spark on Lancaster Street to see a lot of really exciting things happen.
Sometimes that's all it takes, is one new building to revitalize an area, bring some beauty to it. And that's another piece of this. You are an art lover. You're also a bit of an artist yourself.
I like to paint.
You like to paint. And can you share a little bit about how you bring that into the work that you do? How does art factor into your work?
I love using color and function and tie that in with different materials. I don't really like building what we call brick and stick buildings. I love the way that concrete plays with glass, plays with spandrel, plays with all the different materials out there. And I really think that in a large way, what I do is because I'm a frustrated artist. I just have a bigger canvas than most people.
You've got a tremendously large canvas, and it's probably a little more difficult to sort of paint over and start again if something doesn't go the way you want it to.
A lot of planning in advance.
I was going to say you'd have to. You talk to me a little bit more about the changes you've seen in the business world in the last several years. I mean, we've certainly we've been on a bit of a roller coaster ride. There's been a lot of turbulence. How do you think that might have helped us or hurt us in our economy?
I think one of the biggest factors that I've seen change over the couple years is not only technology, but the way that we're really starting to tie it all together into our businesses. I started out in the days when a telex machine was a big deal, so I've seen a lot of change. What I've seen, the successful companies, they're able to embrace this technology and use it to make them smarter and more productive and not more distracted. The key with it is to really focus on those things that you need the technology for and let them make your business better. I've been able lately through purchasing a notebook. Now anywhere I am on any site, I can respond to POs, react to emails, look over documents. It's really made me mobile and made me more productive. Sadly though, I still see a lot of people who take technology and they sort of hide behind it. So instead of getting FaceTime with people, which I really think is a very critical thing, they'll send emails, they'll make calls, they'll do analysis, but they just don't get out enough. And that's one of the dangers. If your bank doesn't know you because you're never down there, how are they going to help you when you need their help? If your customer has someone else come up to them offering a competitive product, if all you are a series of emails and phone calls, you won't have the edge. So it's a double-edged sword. You have to make sure technology makes you more productive, but you just can't hide behind it.
I think again, that's a great answer. There's so much that technology can help us with and create intimacy in terms of a global environment. But to your point, if we just use that and we hide behind it, we can't create that important connection, the human connection that is really what drives a lot of business. And it's through word of mouth referrals, it's through understanding how people think and their integrity. And that's sometimes difficult to get just from an email or from that digital experience.
It is. I think those are great reasons to engage in social media, and I've had some tremendous successes with social media lately. But you still have to make sure that you focus on the basics.
So on that note of social media, you're on LinkedIn.
Yes,
so we're connected that way. Is that the tool that you would use the most, or what would you say for someone starting out if they were going to pick one social networking site? Which one should they choose, or would you say works well?
I think it would depend on the industry. For my industry, which engages with a lot of professional consultants and banks and that type of stuff, for me, LinkedIn works very well. If I need to know someone who is a lawyer out in Saskatoon, I have a gigantic network of people that I can rely upon and find that kind of people. But for other people, Twitter might be a tremendous tool for them. For other, Pinterest. For other, it could be a combination of different things. I really think that there's enough phenomenal tools out there for, as I keep saying, once someone has the basics taken care of, for them to be able to take things to the next level by going into the appropriate type of social media that works for them.
So know your audience and then leverage social networking appropriately. And you can gain a lot of information from doing that. I mean, it's especially with Twitter. If you're interested in something and you're following people who are thought leaders, you can get a ton of information that way. When you think about your career and you look back and you think about who might have helped you, who helped you become successful, who are the people that have influenced you most?
I would say that the people that have helped me the most have definitely been my wife and my family. I've maintained some crazy hours sometimes. I'm on the road for days on end. When I get involved in a project like Leicester Street, I'm burning the midnight candle and I won't come home till 11 o'clock at night. Knowing that everything's well taken care of at home really allows me to focus on taking care of my business needs and being able to execute the best I can. So that would be a big part of it. And the other one would have to be my parents, because it's because of their portfolio of properties and faith in me 12 years ago that let me take a bunch of assorted properties and turn it into a full-fledged development company nowadays. And I work hard every day still to keep all of their trust in me.
Wow. And again, that's building with integrity, right? So family is really important to you. What about individuals who might not have either a spouse or parents to lean on or to support them? What do you think is important? And you've talked a little bit about, having sort of we've talked about the entourage of the accountant and whether it's the banker. Are those individuals that you think are really relevant and key to this process for someone starting out?
I think they are, but I think there would be one more person that I'd probably try to put in the mix, and that is to find a good mentor. People who understand your industry, who understand the business that you're in and the trials and tribulations that you're going through and that you can connect with. A good mentor can give great contacts to you. A good mentor can give great advice to you. So I would think that if I were starting out a new business, one of the first things that I'd want to find would be a really good mentor.
And you have been a fabulous mentor to people here in the community, and I'm so thankful and delighted that you've joined us on Authentik You today. So thank you so much, Michael, for being with us.
My pleasure. It was a great experience.
Wonderful, thank you. And thanks to all of you. You have many choices in terms of how you spent the last half hour, and we're delighted that you spent it here watching Authentik You. I'd also like to thank Rogers TV Cable 20, my fabulous crew, and my producer, Karen McLaughlin, and I'd also like to thank my PR and media expert, Elise Bierstock, and Scott Keller, who does my hair, Jen Havenga, who does my makeup, David Boys, who's designed the fabulous set here. And remember, it's always a fantastic day to be your authentic self. Thanks so much for watching.